You just have to create one more object and publish this form configuration.
So one more question. Actually, like I was trying to check this previously some days ago. Actually, that TV programs has an additional category option.
Correct.
Which is in the filter.
So that is one more metadata in the content. So it's not only restricted to primary category. You can use anything in the content metadata to construct your query. You can say that rating of 4.5 is the only content that I want to see. Elasticsearch supports it. Your content discovery works. If you want to say, I want only trackable collection to be available here, because that is a relevant story for you, put it. Elasticsearch will return you the result.
So the filters is nothing but your Elasticsearch query the request
Filters.
object. Request object.
That is a request object.
Okay. Now today he request object going with the primary category of type two things. If you want anything else you want to add, you go and update here. You don't have to change anywhere in a code level. Okay. The filter object you update whatever you want.
Ideally, in a developer world, we would have happily gone ahead and said that filters dot primary category, and product manager comes with the next requirement, why don't you add one more thing? Okay, I'll put in my engineering effort, do a GitHub check-in and impose the engineering cost, right? Once you make it configuration driven, you don't necessarily need to. See, those are the places where you eat lot of fruits. But mastering this configuration is where, you are going to make a lot of effort.
Instead of writing the code that way, the code is written to use this data and
Generic.
Whatever you pass here, the code will work. It's proven now. For any new changes, you don't even test it. But if you write the code, any new changes, you have to make sure that code, what you written is working, will it work or not.
Yeah.
But here, it's a proven, it will work for sure.
Home
Just need to make sure the data is there.
I want it for home. So one significant thing that I have not explained is how do you introduce a new tabs is what I have said. What is the corresponding search, composite search that you have to do. But there is one specific special use case in this entire thing that's called as home. Okay. Let's go back to the home. I think sir had that question on, I keep getting a lot of requests. If let's assume I want to do something of this sort. Browse by subjects, come down. I want browse by categories, recent published courses from NCRT, from Tamil Nadu board. I just want something at my own will and wish.
You have seen so many sections right now in this home page only. Now if you log in, right, when you try to log in this same home page only, just try to log in if you have a credential by any chance.
Allah, first explain.
Login based on your preferences, right? No, that is one part, content creator.
Along with that, it will also tell you what are the sections to be shown.
One more section gets added when you log in.
Because you are more personalized to the system.
You would have had content creator.
Someone has changed the password.
Maybe internet is not working. Still okay, no problem. Go ahead. It's okay.
First of all, where do we see that UI pipeline?
Which one?
The one that we were seeing earlier. The way to update the trigger everything. So how do we access that particular configuration in the
So basically what we were doing is using a postman collection in the initial days. Okay. It's just someone with a very business oriented BA, can come in and go ahead and replicate one more tab. It's not UI driven. Probably that is as I said, I was telling to this gentleman that this can be one super value addition to the Sunbird ecosystem, because someone can make this UI driven. It means you have this entire configuration in the fingertips, and this entire system will be functional in few clicks. Okay. So
these are the sections that we have.
So these are all the sections that we have, correct? So right now we are displaying recently published courses. We have some browse by categories. So can you go to the top? So there is something called as the preferences as well. So this is a user preference, whatever he would have done through his onboarding. Based on that, there are a lot of sections. So let's look at how these sections are done. This is called as a page configuration. Home is a page configuration driven. If you want to introduce such sections, any number of sections, you again don't need a coding. You can just do it upfront. Okay. Go to the home. Sections. So if you look at it, it has 8 sections to be displayed. Okay.
Getting confused?
Go to the
Are you guys getting confused?
I have one question. Is online only, so if it is true, it is true for offline and online both.
Yes.
Yes.
And if it is false, so
It
is
means
true.
exclusively for them. Because online capability is not there, web is always online. Web cannot work without internet, so it doesn't come up.
See, my simple question is, do we know how we access this particular UI to be able to change these
This
parameters?
one, this one.
This one, yes.
This is actually
Because we're
built
looking at
by
something-
our developer.
Exactly,
No,
exactly.
this is built by our developer.
Okay.
So it is not exposed anywhere actually.
Very true, very true.
So you can use Postman. All these form APIs are available. This is using that form API only. We have developed one
Simple UI to
Simple UI to
simple
do
UI
it.
to do it, and he has already done.
But he can't save this from this. He'll just take a JSON dump. He will also have to go back and save
It
it.
will save.
No, in Vercel it will save.
It will save.
But if you look at the Diksha configuration and all, there the people will go in and they will actually do the Postman
Okay.
run.
Would we actually change the file or something like
Is
that?
it Sunbird's JSON formatter or something?
Probably.
This one is a Vercel app basically that we have
You
built.
can consider that as
To-
Sunbird,
Okay, there's just
JSON,
a page on
format.
that
Okay,
app.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just-
You can use any online formatter also. Yes.
JSON update or something like that. Yeah.
So there is nothing custom built out here actually right now. Okay. So now we are talking about the home page. So initially what we discussed was how do we configure n number of tabs so that we can build n number of stories for the user. Now on the home page, which is a key ask that you were referring to, how do we build the sections? So right now we have around 8 sections totally, okay? You can provide a title to it. This is the first rule. Is it enabled? What is the facet key? And also the description. Let's get into the API configuration. You can also say how this section can get composed. What is the API to call? How does it do? Composite search, facets, filters, fields. It's the same rule. You don't change anything. You're just, whatever you had applied at the tab level, now this is getting applied at a individual section level as well. So let's get into the filters. Filters. So this has more understanding to it. If you look at the filters, it says, I want the enrolled batch enrollment type to be open. I want open batches to exist. Can you go to the status?
Batch status will be
It also says the status should be live. It also says the content type should be course. Move ahead. Batch status is also pretty much the same, which says it's open. So it says that it is applicable to Tamil Nadu state with mediums as English and Tamil with the primary category as course. If all of these contract matches, get me that list. Composite search, same composite search with a more complex query. No engineering effort, keep building as many sections as you want. Your story will tell you what should be your filter. Your story will tell you what should be the title. Keep constructing the configuration.
So I guess we should start experimenting with this.
Yes, it's very, very important.
Essential.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like just to add to Hemant also, so like we have this ticket called where we have to show books for NCRT.
Yeah.
We are dealing with.
Yeah.
So what, like there is an issue with this, like I'm not sure it's an issue. Like we have publisher, author and copyright
Correct.
with NCRT.
Correct.
Okay, so we want that publisher with like content should be displayed where publisher, author and copyright appears in an or condition, not an and condition as being added into filters. So is there any other like API or configuration which we can use for that?
No, can you give me an example again? Can you
Let's say there is a course,
Huh?
it has publisher is NCRT,
Correct.
copyright NCRT,
Huh.
author NCRT.
But tell me one thing. Why do you need all 3 metadata to prove that it is NCRT books? That's a wrong way of constructing the query as per content metadata. Ownership actually does not get constructed because of 3 attributes. The organization should clearly tell you who is the owner of this. So if organization tagging is the only thing that you need to do, construct. If you are using 3 metadata to prove the ownership, then I think it's a wrong interpretation of the metadata. That's where I'm seeing a challenge. But I'll take your fundamental question. That does not go away because what you are saying is how do I put a OR query instead of an AND query. Quite possible that we may have to do some extensions. Quite possible. Elasticsearch allows us to do this.
Elasticsearch allows,
but it is not leveraged on the UI as on today. But trust me, if your query cannot be really that complex as well. Generally, our experience has been your ANDs should help you. It's not really yours. So I'll tell you the way how it is leveraged. Class 1 or 2 or 3. If you put it in an array, this is applicable across all 3.
Yeah, this is an OR. And
Yeah.
this is an OR.
But if it is against 2 different metadata, then then you're testing the correctness of the Elasticsearch and the implementation rather than the business use case. Okay, perfect. So you, as I said, so this is a more complex query being constructed just to put one section. So you can also define a behavior. Do you want a section of cards to be shown? Do you want facet to be shown? There should be something in here, right?
Not in the index 4.
No, go up, minimize the request.
Index 4 ಇದೆ index 1 2 ನೋಡಿ
Index, go to the index.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲೇನೆ 0th index is 4. Go open the 1 or 2. Yeah, this is actually one continue learning. Index 5 is from NCRT. Index 3 is search for what?
Okay, facet key. Okay.
Yeah, facet key basically.
Subject.
So
Facet key type is something which is defined what
So,
kind of.
so the facet key will decide whether you want to show the facets or you want to show the actual results. Do you want to show the filters or do you want to show the actual content? I don't know how many of you are aware of what is the Elasticsearch facet is. So let's assume you're looking out for electrical appliances. What are the filters, default filters that you would get? A range, a price range, correct? And also the different brands being available. For a user, that could be his primary motive to discover. So sometimes these facets itself will act as a primary discovery for a composite search. Rather than saying I have these many course cards or things being available, if you can just put in those brand names, he might be interested in those brand names only at the upfront. So if we go back to that UI, so this is all facets. When we say browse by subjects, these are all facets. These are all the subjects which are available as part of that composite search. These are not the actual content. If you look at the content could be actually your course or a textbook. This is just a filter. Just click on one of them. ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಯ್ತಪ್ಪ ಹೋಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆದಕ್ಕೆ ನೋಡಿ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್
Staging is okay. Staging is our DevOps is changing something. I'm extremely sorry.
Some development.
Okay, go back to the home.
Go to Diksha and do it.
That's okay. Go to Diksha. No, Diksha didn't had anything. No?
Diksha had.
It's had.
Diksha had home, but not the explore. There's one more tab called explore.
Oh, this is all onboarding that we were talking about. So the taxonomy identification. See, I mean, barring all of these things, one of the primary things that we need to really keep in mind is, since it's being used, especially some of these consumption screens, right? Yeah. So when you click on the facets, you can see that his preferences got added with that whatever the facet was. So he got his own customized view. So it's not necessarily always that the content needs to be displayed. The facets can also get displayed. Okay. It's not really always the TV appliances being shown. The TV brands itself can become a matter of discovery for the user. So that's how it's being thought through. Okay. Can we come back? Can you go to all? So I'll show you one more use case where facets is super important.
Yeah, our staging is
But
somewhat
it's okay, no problem.
flickering.
So if you look at this, what is the search results that is being shown? It's a universal of content. Everything is there, correct? Now as a user, you will start drilling down. Let's go to the board. Can you click on the board and select some specific board? CBSE. So your contents actually got reduced. So what are you doing? From a 75,000 possibilities, you have with one filter, you have actually reduced your funnel. Let's apply a medium as well. Medium apply madappa. So now your filter results actually got reduced even further. Be more specific, class 1. Still, now we are coming lot more closer. So this is where, it's a facet based discovery. The facets can actually help the users to drill down on the content that they are interested in. It's a different manifestation of what was done in our previous other tabs. There we were actually starting with a very less number of things based on the taxonomy identification. Here you don't have a taxonomy identification. I am a normal user, come to all and start discovering as per your will and wish. Now you have only 50 things to worry about. Continue it further, probably you'll get lesser.
Only one filter with course.
All are courses only.
All are courses. So if you look at all of these courses were all getting refreshed. This feature is called as facet. Your result will decide what should be your filter. And these filters can itself become a discovery for someone else. In this place, you can imagine all TV brands being shown, all TV products being shown, this being a brand, this being a price range, this being a color, this being a warranty. Just compared to the e-commerce site. So these are all your facets. Sometimes I am more interested by going with this, identifying the brand, and then I want to drill down my search. Okay?
Those fields which have SE underscore are those the facets, right?
No. Facets is actually a property it's a feature in the Elasticsearch. Based on your search query, if you do a search query with everything being cleared, you will have facets which will have all the boards, all the mediums, all the classes. You start applying a board, your medium filters will get reconstructed with a very minimal set of filters which are applicable for CBSE. So this is available as part of Elasticsearch implementation. So that has been pretty heavily used on this.
My question was like, there is one field in the URL called board, then one we have SE underscore boards. So
Correct.
those SE underscore ones are pertaining to facets.
See, you can actually make any content metadata as facet. There is no limitation on it. There are few metadata which cannot come in, like description and all. It has to be of key type, field as a key type. Then you can make sure a lot of these contents can be used as facets. A lot of these metadata can be used as facets. So you can make it as a trackable, as an explicit filter. So there are quite a lot.
This UI console always it will be like a drop down. If at all I want some checkboxes, can we do that?
That if you want to drive it using configuration, that may have to be built in.
Okay.
But this all is something that is being, so can you actually switch this layout? Switch the layout to the old version, older one, classic theme. So just see how this particular page was getting manifested in this. Open the filters, see the same filters was in a very different avatar. But it has to be done with, it cannot, this is switchable, but you can't make the UI itself change its behavior. That we may have to construct. So it was the same view, all, you are in all tab, with filters being applied, you see all the things. It's again a facet based filtering.
Okay, I do have a question about sections.
Yeah.
So you said that we have 8 or 9 sections around, and there is one section named as continue learning.
Continue learning, yeah.
That shows the courses which we have partially consumed, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so that question is actually from our QA team. There is a section, they are actually leading for a section called My Learning. So my question is continue learning and My Learning section is same?
Yes.
It is actually same.
Is it same? They were actually looking for My Learning in the section, and
Two questions.
they were actually looking for My Learning. So they had some test cases, and in that test cases they have mentioned My Learning.
In the courses tab, it is called as My Learning.
My learning.
And in the home tab, it is Continue Learning.
It's continue
But
learning.
having said that,
It is just a language. that's
people don't have any opinion on what should be there. It is purely decided by probably a product person.
yeah.
What he wants to say his user. You call it as a My Learning or a Continue Learning.
No, but that is the same thing. That's my
Concept is same.
Because
That
we have continue learning.
your search query should prove that
They are
logically.
actually, QA people are expecting My Learning section also, but continue learning is also there.
Continue
So
Learning
I was-
itself is nothing but My Learning.
My Learning, the same thing.
It's one and the same. Only thing is maybe the title.
Enroll list to the other way.
So whatever was saying, applied filters are board, medium, class, subject, all everything is good, but on the right side.
Yeah,
it's
it is
coming as blank.
pre-population and that's the issue I have.
This is a bug basically, what you're seeing.
It's a
here.
code change or?
No, it is not a code change. I think the problem, what I felt is the state and all is capital letter and small letters. There is much of it, not much of a problem. There is some language change or something is.
So logically, if you look at it as on today, it's a bug. Guys, I think in the interest of the
If you
time.
see English, there is a small e, but here it is e.
E capital
Oh,
and in the
oh.
drop down, I think it is small letter. That's why it is
Small,
not
yes,
switching.
small drop
Let's
down.
see, let's see.
That's the smallest problem that we can see. It's not or as such as a code problem or anything. It is already work is done. I
Actually,
think.
Indra, because of drop down it's capital, but I think state names are small.
I think something is mismatch in
Because
that.
because of this thing only, if you go to NCRT tenant and then you click on some books or some filter, I'm not sure. There is
Yeah, so
a-
that thing which is happening now, what I found from the code.
so there is a bug.
So, see, I have a suggestion, okay? I'm pretty sure you'll get to see a lot of issues that you would have faced in your development life cycle, okay? My suggestion is you just bring it up, and probably there is a dedicated session. The intent of this session is to provide you with a basic understanding of how things work.
Actually, I was asking whether it is a code change which team has to do or it's just a
Oh, in that way. Oh, in that way. Ideally, if there is
go
a,
in the right direction.
if it is a question of a small case and a uppercase, I think it's a configuration.
Done, I think. It is already done.
No, but that is not a question. You did not. What is the question is? Was it a configurational change? Was
I
it a
don't
code
remember
change?
it right now.
Ah.
I don't remember it.
Actually, that thing that appends in the URL, now
Yeah.
there is a code written which appends this user preferences in the params.
Correct.
Or guest
Correct.
log
Correct.
user.
Correct.
It
Correct.
appends.
Correct.
So I was just trying to experiment.
Yes, it does. It does append.
Yeah, there is a code written for it.
Correct.
Yeah, so I was just trying to experiment with it, like removing that part where those preferences are getting added.
Okay. No, it actually gets added by default because. So I'll tell you what was the intent of doing this. Okay. If you look at the SEO, the search engine, if you want a discoverability of some of these dedicated pages and if your page ranking has to really go up, then you need to support this kind of a URL passing so that your SEO engines can crawl and it can pass a relevant context for the larger discovery. If someone comes in saying Diksha, science textbooks, would you be happy if I take you to the home page or would you be happy if I take you to the dedicated page?
URL with all that, yeah.
SEO will help you if you start doing this. Of course, you may have to do some other work on top of it. You have to enrich the SEO rankings. But that was the intent. And Pramod was someone who was actually very aggressively pushing for it. Oh, is it? I'm exceeding, huh? My time? Okay, it's 6. So, yeah, I think another 5 minutes and probably we'll just wrap. We have done with all our session today. So, any other questions or any other concerns or I don't know whether I have been able to make a justice to whatever the things that I have presented today. I believe. Okay, so I believe I have done a justice to an extent, and I'll have a couple of my friends who will be taking this forward on this journey. Thank you very much, and it was wonderful talking to all of you guys, interacting with all of you guys. Thank you.
Sorry. I think, please, we have a feedback QR code available.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, should I go out?
It's also energized.
Energized.
This is like a feedback. Okay.
Do we need to capture the rest of the things now, or should we ask him to wrap it up?
Recording,
Yeah.
You can stop the recording.
Yeah.